first song of the album is called The Practice of Showing and Explaining the Contents of a Topic to an Audience, and it's a really, well, like, weird song name, but we thought like Panic at the Disco has a lot of song names that are long and complex. So we just took introduction and like Googled it and got this definition.
Since it's a concept album, I thought like we needed a really great epic introduction to the whole album.
I think it was written in my apartment. I didn't have really an idea of what it would turn out to be.
So I just told Marcus, like, hey, can you write an intro for the record? And he came up with the intro pretty much worked out as it is now.
It's kind of an extra intro to the second track, the charade.
And it makes for a great build-up song, especially when the signature riff from the charade comes in and Björn on the drums starts doing his almost marching kind of beats, and it builds up and it really creates a lot of friction and a lot of tension, and then it just explodes at the end.
The Charade, one of the heavier songs. It's great to play live and really killer to start off the set with.
The Charade started out as a MIDI track.
I made a proto version of the charade, which we then modified during rehearsals.
It was written based upon this rhythm, like
when I wanted to do something with a different time signature in the rhythmic section than the electronics.
it's 6/4 over 4/4 on the drums.
It's quite impossible to hear where it starts over again.
It's always a really cool song to like start a concert off with.
It was Björn who came up with the chorus part.
I've been having this riff in my head for quite a long time, with melody. Seems like everyone has got it better.
It has lyrics I think everyone can relate to in some kind of way.
It's about anyone dealing with the urge to be seen.
It's one of the first songs I think to be completed. It was great to like have an idea of what the album could be, what it would turn out to be.
Ground Plan, our slap-in-the-face rock punk anthem.
So the song Ground Plan is kind of a pop, punk, Paramore-ish thing.
We knew right away that this was a song that it was gonna stick out on the record.
Ground Plan is perhaps the most radio-friendly song on the album.
The song has catchy vocal melodies and it's really a head-sticking song.
I'm really a punk rock guy, as you might know. So I want to bring some elements from that kind of music to our record.
Me and Jonathan are playing harmonics and the guitar and synth are like leading towards the chorus.
The verse is like...
I love the verses in Ground Plan. I feel a lot of Linkin Park vibes there with this really fast way of singing. It's not really rapping.
We do this. Because, you know, our last EP, we did a lot of like time signature changes and shit, and we didn't really have any of those yet. So I thought, well, we need to have something like Dream Theater-ish. So I wrote that.
And I had this idea of an electronic trance part in the middle. So just told Marcus about it, and then he really came up with the section as it is on the album today, just the day after.
And I get to do a guitar solo, which is, I mean, all guitarists want to play solos because that's how you get girls.
Part 3 is this very emotional ballad.
This is where the actual concept of the album starts.
Part 3, This Goodbye, started out with me and Jonathan sitting in his mother's apartment and like just jamming, and he came up with this really nice guitar riff.
It's a very epic song, I would describe it as, because in the beginning it's almost acoustic, it's like acoustic guitar.
We kept on building on that.
I had an idea of this really like grand production, really epic feel to it.
After the recording was done, we ended up with this orchestral epic, which sounds really awesome.
So I wanted to draw like really much inspiration from like songs like Spirit Carrier Song with Dream Theater, and of course Black Parade and My Chemical Romance.
So the first verse is just guitar and like some pads, strings, shit, and the second verse you get in this really like orchestral thing with the snares and percussion and stuff.
Then it just builds up gradually, and at the end there's this great string section with beautiful harmonies, and it just builds up to a great climax.
All shit breaks loose, and it's just like distortion, guitars, and percussion. I don't know, some cool solo that I don't really remember how to play in the background.
It's definitely one of my favorite songs off the record.
White Ties and Front Row Seats is one of the songs that Marcus played a major part in writing.
I had an idea of having a chopped up chord progression.
Marcus came up with like all the instrumentations pretty much written down on the MIDI track, and actually it was so good that I didn't even change the drum parts.
Cool song to play live because people tend to sing along,
and it has really strong lyrics and melody by Christian.
Another story here is that, okay, if it was possible to go back in time and change things so one bad thing would turn good, I think you change so much so you would go missing on a lot of good moments in life.
Had this really nice epic break in the middle where it's just like the guitar playing.
it kind of breaks things off and gets your heart to slow down a bit.
It makes me shiver every time I listen to it.
It's my favorite track on the album.
SODS, or SODS, or actually Sellout Dance Song, which was just kind of a funny way of decrypting the acronym that it is from the beginning.
SODS, we're not really sure what it stands for. We have a lot of like alternative.
SODS is definitely one of the heavier songs in the album.
I had a 7-string guitar and I had to use it, so SODS.
It's based on this guitar riff that Jonathan came up with.
I listened a lot to a Swedish band called Adept around the time we wrote this, and they had like a lot of guitar parts like.
It's a killer song to play live.
SODS is a song that's supposed to get the crowd going. It has this rap part.
Christian just nailed it, and really, I couldn't imagine the song without it.
I really like that I was able to rap because it's a great beat. It feels like Dr. Dre meets My Remorse.
We've never done rap before, so cool to try, and people seem to enjoy it live, and we enjoy it too. I feel like a gangsta.
What I Fight For Is the End is one of the more complicated songs of the album.
Start out with a synth riff, which is the first riff.
It's the heaviest song on the album.
It's the most technical song on the album.
In fact, it is so complicated that it took me ages to learn to sing.
It's a fast song.
Feels majestic.
It's a very powerful chorus.
It's really good harmonies in the chorus between Christian and Björn.
And then it's this really nice part where the guitar and the bass are playing one rhythm. And we have like the synthesizer playing solo over the top. Then I changed the time signature with drums.
It's also the hardest song to play because it has all kinds of different time signatures.
The guitar and synth is playing harmonies together over a really hard pattern, which is contains by 6/8, 4/8, 6/8, 5/8, 6/8, 5/8, and 6/8, 7/8. So there's a lot of counting going on there.
I don't know what I'm playing, but Rip It Out is this kind of in-between song. It's not that long, and it doesn't have like the structure of normal songs. Like nothing ever repeats in this one.
It's not really a full song.
We made up stuff during the recording process, and Rip It Out was one of those songs.
There's this really long keyboard intro with like lots of effects and shit. Turned out really good. Thank you, Marcus.
I was in Marcus' house a lot, and we were working with the arrangements for the singing.
Christian is like pushing his vocals all the way to the limit. It's really crazy harmonies there.
As my favorite chugging part in the end.
Gustav wrote that.
Rip It Out has the best breakdown of the whole album. Period.
Closure is kind of a mellow, soft song.
It's quite different from the other songs. It's mostly written by me, and I had a really hard time convincing the guys that we should record it.
Björn had already written all of the music. I didn't know what to play when I recorded.
In the beginning I was real skeptical. I didn't really think it was that good, but it grew on me and turned out to be a real great song.
The song has really catchy melodies, and it's a song that we've noticed people really like and that they can connect to.
Very much inspired by Angels on Airwaves and Jimmy Eat World.
I was experimenting a lot with the verse, trying to get it to sound really atmospheric and thick.
There's a really nice contrast in the second verse where Marcus uses arpeggio sound on the keyboard, and it just makes for a really intimate experience.
It's quite a bittersweet song about coming to peace with your past.
I was skeptical at first though, but it turned out a good song. Unbreakable, the last song on the album. It's kind of like a mixture, like a blend of hardcore punk and 80s heavy rock music.
It has an amazing tapping intro, and it's the only My Remorse song that has been covered. Thanks to the German guy from Berlin, I think.
So on. And I wrote that listening once again to Adip.
It's the fastest song on the record, and it has a really cool intro riff.
And then the verse is like this. Has this like natural harmonics, which is always fun to use because it really sticks out.
I'm playing I think it's the hardest groove to play on the entire album.
Some really sick chords, it really has a Bring Me the Horizon vibe over it.
After the second chorus, it's like this really heavy part by Gustav again.
And it's got drum solo in the end, and Björn told me to say that's fun. I guess it is.